Welcome back to a brand new Buffalo Bengals recap. If you are interested, be sure to check out the first link in the description for the full recap article. I do want to mention that I will not be at another Bengals game until November 8th, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to make some travel times. I'm not going to be in town on the 25th for the Rochester game, so I do apologize in advance. But I will be at the St. Lawrence University game on the 8th and the November 15th game at Hobart College to end off the season. Thanks again for stopping by this video and hope you enjoy.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matthew Barton, and I am back at Coyer Field, the Bengals home field, for today's presentation of the Buffalo State Bengals versus the Union College Garnet Chargers. That's a mouthful. The Bengals are coming in here 1-3 against the 2-2 Chargers. They're even on the year so far, while the Bengals did just pick up their first win last week. But it is a blistering hot day. It's about 80 degrees here on this October weekend, which is crazy to say, but you know, I'm not going to hate on it. We're going to just enjoy this hot weather for as long as possible. We have a huge matchup here today. Another Liberty League matchup. It is the second Bengals Liberty League matchup in a row. And this says a lot because the Bengals currently sit number 4 in the Liberty League, right under Union at number 3. So the winner of this game gets the number 3 spot, and who knows, maybe it could even be higher depending on other ones. Quick shout-outs to the Bengals in terms of, stuff they've been doing this season. Last week, Jetty Higdon, the running back for the Bengals, he actually received the Liberty League Rookie of the Week after his first 100 rushing yard performance in his college career. And if y'all remember, he did go 101 yards on 18 carries last week. He didn't score last week, but he is third in rushing touchdowns in the full Liberty League with 3 touchdowns, so that's pretty sick. Bengals quarterback Noah Kimball, he is first in the Liberty League in completion percentage, sitting at a 69.8%. We'll see if that record stands because I'm watching the Bengals warm up right now. And Amir Cameron, the quarterback that played in the first game and ended up getting injured in the game against Hartwick and sat out, he suited up, so we're thinking that he's probably back. Keegan Whitfield is second in the Liberty League for receiving yards with 294 on this season. Emerald Smart sits at first place in interceptions, and he earned that spot last week with his 2 interception performance in the win against Hilbert. For as much as the Bengals record, the 1-3 record, doesn't look the best on paper, at the same time, it's just these players trying to have fun, and even just their own records hold a lot of value as well. As you all know, if you did watch my previous video, the Bengals had a huge win, 15-8 last week against Hilbert. And I didn't realize this until after the Hilbert game, but that was, I believe, Hilbert's 29th straight loss. So as a Bengals fan, that kind of is like a punch in the gut. It's like, that doesn't make the win feel as nice, but hey, at least we didn't lose it. If someone's you don't want to be the one to snap their streak. The Union had an actually pretty good last game. They faced, I believe they faced St. Lawrence. Bengals are getting rowdy on the field. They dominated on all fronts, winning by 44-12. These are the players that we're going to be looking out for. Their quarterback, Patch Flanagan, he had 16 completions for 236 yards and 3 pass touchdowns. That is some NFL-type numbers right there. So that's going to be definitely difficult for the Bengals to deal with. And the other thing that's difficult for the Bengals to deal with, they also have a running game. The Bengals have struggled to defend the run. Even in the win last week, they struggled. Michael DiNardo is the main guy to look out for Union. He had a touchdown last week. The Garnet Chargers do have a very lethal kind of 2 wide receiver, almost like a left-right punch in their receiving core. Gil Rivera, last week, he got 7 catches, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Owen Corrigan, 3 receptions for 67 yards. Yeah, 67 yards and a touchdown. The thing that worries me about this game is that the Bengals have to worry a lot about both the pass and the run, when in prior weeks it was either okay, this team's really good at running, or this team is okay at passing. So we'll see. I hope they can have a balance between defending the run and pass, but that's definitely going to be difficult for the Bengals this game. This is no walk in the park for the Bengals, though, today. It is homecoming weekend. Last year, the Bengals did fall to Union 10-31, and Flanagan and Rivera actually did play in that game last year, so they're coming back. This game is on the Buffalo's home turf, though. Last year's game was, I I believe that Union plays around like Troy, New York. But so yeah, this should be a really good game, and it will be a tough game for the Bengals. So I hope that they can carry some momentum into this game. And I'm actually 35 minutes away from kickoff right now. So yeah, we're just gonna hang out, try to beat the heat, and we'll catch you after the first half. Alrighty, Bengals fans and possibly Union fans, if anyone's watching. It is officially halftime here at Coyer Field. The Bengals are down 0-14 at the moment. Honestly, the first half went by super quick, and it's really have to just attribute all that to Union's running game. They're absolutely decimating the clock every time they have the football. The quarterback's running, Flanagan, the running back, Denaro. It has been almost a massacre compared, at least the Bengals defense last game compared to the Bengals defense this game. Buffalo State did win the coin toss, and they are getting the ball back with the half to start, so we hope they can put something together, because as soon as the half ended, Bengals were actually driving a little bit, but it was them versus the clock more than it was them versus Union at some points, which kind of sucks. But like I mentioned, Amir Cameron was back, and honestly, he looked pretty good. He was connecting with receivers like Mekhi Johnson, and believe it or not, the ex-quarterback, he's still a quarterback on the roster, but Noah Kimball, who was the quarterback that led him to that win last week, Cameron's connecting with Kimball on huge gains, Otho Cox, William Kitchings, Mekhi Johnson, and even was in on the running game too. So it was actually really awesome to see Amir Cameron back, and hopefully we can get something together, get some points the second half, because it's just been a rough game to start for the Bengals, and like I mentioned, a quick game too. It's only been about 50 minutes to play 30 minutes of ball. They're doing senior night stuff. So the first touchdown for the Union college team, we had Flanagan, the quarterback, actually run it in. We didn't expect him to be such a running threat this game, because we saw his passing in the last game, like I mentioned, 3 passing touchdowns, but he has been all over the place running the football. And I think it's definitely catching the Bengals off guard, because he's getting short gains. They're drawing up plays for Flanagan, and he's shooting out the backfield like a cannon on these QB draws, and he's tearing the Bengals defense apart. And the Bengals they struggled on offense, and it's almost just like a slow attack. They're just getting beat up on defense, just kind of Union's just knocking them down, they're getting back up, knocking them down, they're getting back up, until Union ends up scoring. So the end of the first quarter, it was all Union. The Bengals, they got off to a terrible start. They're announcing stuff on the loudspeaker, and I hope it's not interfering too much with this mic. I'm going to hold it a little bit closer. But shout out to the homecoming Kings and Queens. I didn't realize they did that in college, but I guess that's cool. Second quarter kind of just picked up right where the first left off. Buffalo was getting absolutely chewed up in the run game. And then the pass game even started to pick up. Flanagan was hitting receivers. They got down the field a lot by the passing, but the run game is what got them in the end zone for the second time in the game. I'm going to have to double check, but it was number 23 or 33 got pretty. It was an epic touchdown. I'm a Bengals fan, but it was an epic touchdown by Union. He broke probably 3 tackles on the field, extended his arm to the end zone. It was something you've never seen. But honestly, after the Bengals went down 14-zip, something changed. The Bengals found a way to put together a drive that literally ended on, I believe, the 2 or 3 yard line because they went for it on fourth down. Amir Cameron was turning nothing into something. He was hitting Mekhi Johnson deep. He was hitting Kimball deep. It was one of the better drives of Cameron's whole season. Like I said, he did miss a lot of games. Higdon was getting involved. Badai was getting involved. None of them can get in the end zone. And in the fourth down, if I was the coach, I don't want to act like I know any better than anyone on the Bengals organization. I think I may have tried for the field goal. The kicker is literally just practicing kicks. I don't know if that's hurting him. He's practicing kicks all game long, and they're not going to just go for the field goal. The game is about getting points. You get shut down 3 times on the 2-3 yard line. Just kick your 3 points. Because then, if you score a touchdown, you come out the half and score, it's only 14-10. But we'll see. So that was kind of disappointing by the Bengals. Luckily, they did get the ball back after Union did. And believe it or not, another huge game-changing interception, this time by number 12. Defensive back Xavion Betts. An absolutely huge interception. I want to say it was, I'm looking at the spot where it was. I want to say it was on the 3 yard line, just 3 yards outside of the end zone. So he completely changed the game. Got the Bengals the ball back with, I want to say it was less than 2 minutes left on the clock. So they didn't have a lot of time to work with. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this, it was Bengals versus the clock for a ton of this game. That really was unfortunate because I think that if there was a little bit more time, the Bengals definitely could have scored because they were putting this drive the pass game, the run game, everything was kind of working. And there was a small moment of confusion, and Jetty Higdon actually went down on one of the plays, and then, his helmet came off, so he's legally has to sit out the next play, but there was a whole mess up on the field. The refs were actually screaming at the Bengals. I'm going to try to go more into detail in the article that I write because I definitely want to watch that back and see what the heck happened to make the ref scream at the Bengals sideline. But definitely a highlight play. Amir Cameron actually threw a pretty nice lateral to Chris Bodie. And like I said, I think that if there was maybe a minute more, the Bengals could have got in the end zone, but they really couldn't make it happen. The last play of the half was actually Amir Cameron was running for his life in the backfield. He probably avoided 3 or more tackles, but yeah, definitely a tough start for the Bengals, especially in homecoming. A lot of U fans here. I keep hearing behind me go U and let's go U. At the same time, though, I don't know, do I have a lot of sunburn, guys? Anyone watching this, can you notice? It is a hot one out here. We're melting to our seats. I'm using this as a visor, which is actually kind of nice because I'm trying to get some sunburn up, not get as much sunburn at least. But yeah, pretty tough start for the Bengals. There's 11 minutes towards halftime. I think I'm going to go try to hydrate a little bit and watch the second half of this game. 14-0. It's not impossible for the Bengals to come back here, so let's see what happens. Thanks for watching so far. Well, folks, I am here as the sun sets on Coyer Field after another huge loss here. Honestly, I'm going to try to cover the sun. I really hate to say this, but I think that might have been one of the worst halves of Bengals football this year. Second worst, because they did not score at all in the Brockport game in the first half. But final score, 28-6. Union defeats the Buffalo State Bengals, and the half really started out amazing for the Bengals. Cameron came out. They were firing passes. Literally, the first drive for the Bengals, Amir Cameron connected with Noah Kimball on a huge 53-yard touchdown. There was actually some controversy, which I'm going to highlight in the article I write, but the guy next to me, he was screaming to the top of his lungs, "Where's the hold?" Screaming at the refs. So I'll definitely look into that when I watch back the footage. But it was a really nice touchdown, and the fact that he was so open kind of makes me question that he was calling for the holding, so that was a little bit confusing. But honestly, after that, it was 14-6. The Bengals really had a chance to start, and that's at the start of the third quarter. But after that, it was literally, it felt like the Union Garnet Chargers had the ball for the rest of the game on offense. I mean, I do want to give a lot of credit to Sincere Green of the Bengals. I feel like I was hearing his name called on every single play, but Flanagan got a nice touchdown pass to Rivera to make it 21-6 after the extra point. And a little highlight I want to do about Union, they are darn good at kicking extra points. They did end up missing a field goal in the late game, but extra points, they got those on lock. Bengals were just consistently punting throughout this. It was either the Bengals would punt or just have a turnover on down, so there was really no in between, which kind of stunk. And then the last point scored of this game was actually in the third quarter. It was a scoreless fourth quarter. Flanagan 41-yard rushing touchdown. Literally the drive started, it was Flanagan rushing touchdown the second play after. So it was just devastating. Then after that, the fourth quarter, I might want to say that this was the worst quarter of the Bengals season thus far. The Bengals were getting some passes completed. They're getting some runs, but at the same time, you got to think that Union wants the clock to run out. They want you to make a catch. They want you to run so that the clock kind of trickles away. Turnovers on downs. And I do want to give some credit again to the Bengals defense. They had Union on the ropes, third and longs, fourth and longs, but either penalties or then another scenario of they're getting these miracle plays on 4th and 10. They're completing a pass for 13 yards. So really disappointing quarter here. It was good to just despite Union kind of playing back a little bit, it was nice to see some passes being complete on the last drive. But an unfortunate end to this game. Amir Cameron was sacked, I want to say 2 times on the last drive. And it's just kind of representation of this game. It was a difficult game. It was hot. It was a long day. It was even a long day for myself. I wasn't on the field, so I'm not gonna compare myself to them. But if I was hot on the bleachers, I don't even want to know how hot they were. In full pads, a helmet, black uniforms. So Bengals are heading off the field. So am I. I'm gonna go home, write some articles and nonsense. But I do want to make an unfortunate announcement. I'm not going to be able to get to the next couple Bengals games due to personal issues as well as travel issues. A couple of the games are pretty far. But I am going to make sure to get out to a couple more games this season. And I will definitely be at the last games to kind of close off this YouTube series and, this season with the team. I started covering the team. I'll definitely be at the last game. But I am going to have to miss a couple of the away games and the Rochester game because I'm not going to be home. But you'll see a video when I'm at the games. Thanks again, everyone, for watching this video. Homecoming 2025 at Buffalo State. My name is Matthew Barton, reporting for myself and The Record. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.